The notice period is the period of time that you have to give, for example, if you're a tenant, your landlord notice before you want to leave your rental unit. You want to end your tenancy. You have to provide 60 days notice. For example, if I were to give notice on the second day of the month, let's say the second day of July, right? So if you were to calculate 60 days from July 2nd, that would be, well, you pass August 2nd and you get to September 2nd. But the last day of your tenancy cannot be on the second day of the month. It has to be on the last day of the rental period. So the earliest day you could end your tenancy, if you gave notice on July 2nd, would be on September 30th. If I'm on a year lease, I can't in month 2 say, oh, well, here's my 60-day notice. Again, the earliest date that you can give a tenant, notice of the end of your tenancy in a fixed term lease is the last day of the fixed term. So I can give the notice on in month 2, but the earliest date it's effective is month 12. You can give notice in a variety of ways. You can give notice verbally. You can give notice in writing by simply writing something on a piece of paper saying, I'm going to leave 60 days and this is the 60th day, and hand that over to your landlord or an agent of the landlord, maybe a property manager. But it is always preferable to give notice using the forms that are provided by the Landlord and Tenant Board, which are available on the Landlord and Tenant Board website. That is the best way because it clearly outlines how to calculate your notice period. It's important that you take a copy of that form. You make sure that anything you give your landlord, you have a copy of for your own records. It's best to do it in person if possible, or through registered mail if you have to, so that the landlord can't say afterwards, well, I didn't receive it, or I don't know where it went. If you're giving it in person, you might want to have a witness, a friend, or someone else who can be there with you so that they can say, well, yeah, I saw you give that notice to the landlord on such and such date. So the Landlord and Tenant Board is an administrative tribunal in the province of Ontario that is responsible for deciding these disputes between landlords and tenants. The one thing that is important for tenants to realize is that ending the tenancy is a very serious thing. It's something that the board doesn't take lightly, the Landlord and Tenant Board doesn't take lightly. It's something that it would really take something extraordinary for the board to end it, because there's an agreement between two parties, and the board wants to try as much as possible to make sure that both parties live up to their side of the bargain. Obviously, the landlord is providing this unit, and by you leaving, then the landlord doesn't have that income from you paying rent. The big thing that tenants need to realize is that if the landlord and the tenant agree, they can end their tenancy at any time that they want. And there's a specific form, and that is an N11 form. So tenants can access the N11 form by going to the Landlord and Tenant Board website, and they can sign it. They can get their landlords to sign it, and whatever date is there. It can be at the end of the rental period, it can be at the middle of the rental period, it can be at any point in time. They can agree on ending their tenancy on that date.